This week on Dumb Pitches, my guest is Todd Royce, and he shares a plethora of bad ideas, including starting stand-up by setting up a show at a French restaurant and then not showing up 19 years before he actually started stand-up. It's very interesting, or 20 years, something like that. It's an interesting origin story, okay? Which also led him to pro wrestling. What? It's confusing. Should you do keto and cut sugar out at the same time, or will that send you into some type of hypoglycemia where you can't see? You'll find out. It's true. And then that'll automatically lead us to some pre-diabetic talk about losing weight by running to a donut shop. It's a great episode. Here we go. Dumb pitches.
What a bunch of dumb pitches. Oh my goodness.
Welcome to another episode of Dumb Pitches with Monica Nevi. I'm your host, Monica Nevi, the best, the greatest. Here I am. This is the show where we talk to successful people about their worst ideas. It's great. It's super fun. I'm excited for your guest this week. Here he is, Todd Royce. Yay.
Hey, Todd Royce, the second best, the second greatest.
Yep. That's why I had you on. Now, thank you so much for doing it. I'm very excited to have you. We like to start our show by giving people some info on your good ideas so they don't think you've only had bad ideas before. So, Todd Royce, very funny stand-up comedian, a golden ticket winner from the Kill Tony show. You are currently doing kind of a national tour called Excuse Me, What's That? Stand-up tour with one of our former guests, Josh Nasser. And
I thought it was Josh Nassar. Sorry.
And people will, I'm for sure, recognize you from TikTok. You have almost 700,000 TikTok followers.
What's that?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm obligated to do that.
No, yeah. I signed a contract. Well, it's good because I almost did it. So you've had plenty of good ideas, it sounds like. In fact, you're on this tour, which is awesome. You and Josh doing stand-up all over the place, but you're going to do a show in Seattle, which is where I am, if you guys didn't know that. And you've invited me to be the special guest, and I'm very excited for that. So
probably the best decision either Josh or I have made to have a real comedian on our first show. So.
Laughs Comedy Club, October 3rd. We will be there. So if you haven't gotten tickets, please do.
Yes.
It's going to be a great show, and you'll get to see two.
Tickets are just $15. I'm sorry. This is what I hate about podcasts. A lot of times I start to talk over people. And...
Yeah, I can tell. No, I'm just kidding. I don't even know what I was going to say. That both of you are well known on TikTok, very funny. I've actually known Josh longer than I've known you. He was kind of in my crew when I lived in Los Angeles. And then you'll get to see me as well. So what a fun thing. And then Todd here will give you the info on the tickets.
First off, I'm just so jealous. I've never had an LA crew.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I've
had
not
an
that great. No.
Crew, but...
Is that where you're from?
Yeah, that's where I grew up.
It would be cooler if you had an Oak Harbor crew and you weren't from there.
That's true. I currently have an Oak Harbor crew from my home office in Tacoma.
All it was when you move to LA or New York or wherever you're moving, it often becomes your clique is the other people who you used to know in the city that you're from. And so good friends with some other people from Seattle who he was also friends with. So we would hang out and watch wrestling and stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
You watched wrestling?
Uh-huh.
Well, that's interesting.
Thank you.
Yeah, so just real quick for tickets, you can go to the easiest way would probably just be toddroycexxl.com. And tickets are just $15 for that Seattle show.
Hell yeah. Let's sell it out. Let's have a good time.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Tickets are going pretty well so far. So.
Oh, good. Perfect. Well, I think it's a good show, not to just keep talking about this, but we've also talked about, you guys do have a following on TikTok, which I think people when they follow you on social media, they are pretty interested in you. And so Josh and I had talked about we maybe do like a Q&A for you guys, and I get to host it, which I think would be really cool. So if we get enough people, we sell it out, then maybe we could do that. I think that'd be fun.
That's going to be a blast. That would be a blast.
So obviously I'm really good at hosting things.
Clearly.
All right, well, let's dive into it here. When I sent you kind of the criteria of what the show is, what bad ideas did you come up with?
So the first one, and this one I actually think goes along really well with the theme of the show, because it's a bad idea that ultimately turned into a good one.
Okay.
But when I was 19 years old, I wanted to do stand-up comedy.
Okay.
And I called the Underground. And I remember specifically the person that answered the phone said that before I could do stand-up there, because I guess they didn't have open mics back then. We're talking like 96.
Okay. I was going to say, I don't know 19 when that was, but yeah.
Yeah. Before I could do it, I had to give them videotape of me doing stand-up, because I guess they didn't have open mics. Or he just, could tell that I had no idea what I was talking about.
Tired of too many people being on the open mic.
Yeah. So I called this local restaurant in Oak Harbor. It was this French restaurant that had live music. And I told them that I was a comedian and I was in town and I wanted to do 15 minutes. And they were
and you were in town. Wait, aren't you from there?
Yeah, but I mean, that was the thing. I don't know what.
I mean, that's not a lie, technically. You're like, I am in town.
I was in town.
Okay.
I'm surprised that it wasn't like they said, and what date are you going to be here? I was just like, pick a date. I'm good.
Okay.
But so I go there, and I remember on my drive to the restaurant, I'm thinking, I wonder what I should talk about, because I had no idea about stand-up.
Oh no.
And I go walking into this restaurant, and they have like whatever the name of the band was that was playing. It's like, it was a French restaurant, by the way. So this is like jazz was being played, and I was going to go up and fumble my way through 15 minutes. And when I saw my name on the board, and then I looked in, and it was like an open mic crowd. There was like 3 people sitting in there. I was expecting a theater. Right? So something about that just like got in my head, and I turned around and I left, and I didn't do stand-up for 20 years after that.
Wow, that is an incredible story. Look at that. It's much different than most people's origin stories, I feel like. Okay, so you, first of all, so many things I'm impressed with here. I guess you're 19, so that even makes you a little bit more naive as far as just asking and being confident. I wish that I was more like a 19-year-old man.
Well, plus now as a 43-year-old man, I'm just dumb. So like, it's just
that just stays. That's good.
Yeah.
But that's hilarious that you were just like, yeah, I'll just convince these people that I can do 15 minutes, which is the most random thing to be like, hey, I'm a comedian that's in town. Wondering if I could hop on, do 15 minutes for no reason. Really,
I had enough respect for the art to know that I couldn't do an hour.
Yeah, that's true.
I could certainly do 15 minutes.
Also that you were like, this is a video to hopefully get on at the Underground, which is a comedy club in Seattle for a long time. And rest in peace also. And you thought you needed to send them a 15-minute video. Did he tell you 15 minutes, or did you just decide that yourself?
He did not. And here's what I haven't even thought about until just this very moment. I didn't even have a camera with me. Like, I don't even know what the point of doing the show was in Oak Harbor, other than I guess just to, so I could earn my chops.
I mean, that makes more sense than you being like, okay, I'm going to film this, which obviously you were not prepared to do. You're like, hopefully this French restaurant also has a security camera we can capture this on.
Right.
So there wasn't, I mean, not to put all 19-year-old boys in the same category, but there wasn't a lot of forethought going on, which maybe is pretty standard of the time. But and I do like that you were picky enough still at that time to be like, there's not enough people here. I'm not going to perform.
It was a weird thing, because I was, the idea of doing anything in front of 2 or 3 people scared me to death. I remember I used to tell a friend of mine, I was like, hey, put me on stage at Madison Square Garden and I'd have no problem. But 3 people at Castile Franson, that's just that's
shout out to our sponsor. I do have this theory, and I don't know if this irritates people that I say this, but I'm like, the more people, the less nervous I am, because there's just a better chance that people are gonna like, there's some more people means there's probably more people that are gonna like it. When you have a small sample size, then you're like, either everyone has to like it, which is kind of not ever true. So the more people you're like, somebody's gonna like it. It'll be fine.
Yeah. But like last night, I was at a show where it was literally 3 people showed up. And there was a lot of talk about canceling the show. And I had my fingers crossed, hoping that we would, but they didn't. And I went up on stage, and it was kind of, at least because, after you have some experience, I could look at the 3 people and say, okay, 2 of them laughed at that joke. So I guess that one I might work on. And then like only one sort of chuckled. So that just needs to be totally reworked.
But that is a fair way to title that audience is an open mic audience, because you're like, this is new. And also with open mics, it's nice when they're packed, but what if you have something brand new that doesn't work and you're like, I don't need more people knowing that I tried this. I like a good small room with 10 people in it to try new stuff. That sounds fun to me.
Yeah. That's why I've never understood people who post on Facebook or whatever, like, hey, come see me this Tuesday at open mic. It's like, who do you want to see you at an open mic?
That's true. I mean, I guess I remember when I started, that was kind of like part of the club's deal of being like, you got to tag yourself here and like invite people. I also lied that I brought people the first time I did an open mic. You were supposed to. And I said I had 4 people. You're supposed to bring 6. And he was still kind of irritated by that. And I was like, little do you know, there's literally 0 people here for me.
Did you point them out? Like, that one over there?
I started in January, not as a resolution or anything. It just happened to be that time. And it was like the second week or third week of January. So there's a great audience during that time at open mics, because it is a resolution time. So a lot of people who are going to try it and then quit bring all their friends. So I'm performing for them. So I had a good first open mic because of that. But there was a lot of people there. If there was only 3 people and I was like, I brought 4, you'd be like, where, what? But there was, it was pretty packed little club. So
open mics are a lot like gyms like that.
Tricked him.
I used to, every January I'd join a gym, and then one year, and then you could see that people were pissed off that you're there.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this guy's not coming back. And then one year I joined one in like July, and then around January I was like, who are all these friggin' people, these bandwagoners? They're just
exactly. Well, and people do judge you even in comedy when they're like, oh, you're a resolution comic. And I'm like, no, I was going and watching open mics at this place before January, and then just kind of decided, made the jump after that. And so it was just odd timing, but it worked out.
Yeah.
As far as actually having an audience. Because I wonder if you do suck, or if you did, I mean, not that 20 years, what if you went up there at the French restaurant in Oak Harbor for 3 people, and then you were like, this is the worst thing ever. And then you never tried it again.
Exactly.
I mean, even though you did wait quite a while, but still.
Well, that's why I think that it was ultimately a good thing, because I was like, okay, maybe I'm just not a performer. Maybe all this time I thought I was a performer. That scared the hell out of me, just the idea of doing it. And then I wound up getting into professional wrestling, and I did that for 18 years.
There you go.
And that's where like I got used to, performing. But the entire time I did that, I was like, I should try stand up again.
Did you do that at a French restaurant first?
I did it. I probably did. There's a Mexican restaurant in Seattle that holds wrestling shows. So
I think I remember. That's funny. Well, that's cool. I don't think I knew that about you. Maybe I did. Which is interesting, because that's like a different. I know that stand-up is a very vulnerable thing, because it's just you, and you can't really blame anybody else if it's not going well. But doing something like that, like performing and being like so physical, seems really. I played basketball my whole life, but that was just the physical thing. I didn't have to try and entertain you with my mind as well. Like I feel like because wrestling is like, it's a show. It's really fun, honestly. I mean, I don't know if that's surprising that I enjoy wrestling, but it's a fun thing. And I don't think anybody's under the influence that they're like, these are the best athletes in the world and everyone needs to be quiet so they can focus. Like, that's not what's going on either. They're there for a show. So you probably did learn a lot from that then prepared you for now.
Yeah, I think especially with crowd work and timing.
Yeah.
Because I was not going to be the person who's going to go out there and convince them that I was a great professional athlete. So a lot of mine was, as we said, just talk and BS people. But
that's fun. Then that's
yeah, it was a blast.
Yeah, 18 years. I mean, it's not like you were. You can't be like, oh, I'm not sure after 18 years. It
Right.
seemed like you had you liked it. Why did you age out? What happened?
Not really. I definitely wasn't happy with my physical performance in the past few years. I started getting into broadcasting a little bit and like managing and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I just, at the same time, I just tried stand up, and really honestly, it just got to the point where I was like, oh, I like this way more than wrestling, and I want to focus. I had some people that wanted me to come down once a month to do some shows in Eugene, Oregon. And I told them, I was like, I can't really commit to that because I'm trying to get booked doing stand up. And then they were like, well, how much? And then when I started talking about how much money I'd need to commit to it, they were like, oh, well, you're not worth that at all.
You're not worth that. That's hilarious. Well, it's that's interesting because my story is kind of similar, where I was an athlete and then got hurt and then went to stand up, which I think is like doesn't seem the path, especially for a lady.
I can see, like, because there's a lot of wrestlers who do try to do stand up or whatever, and I think there's a lot of similarities there. But yeah, going from a legit sport to like and being a legit athlete to doing stand up, that does seem very unique.
I mean, maybe it was just for both of us. We were like, we want less of a chance of injury. That seems like
I don't like getting hurt.
No, not a fan at this point. And my body's been used up. I got all the aches and the broken ankles and whatever. So
I just started going to a chiropractor for the first time in my life last week.
How's it going?
And they did x-rays, and they said that my neck looked like I had either been in multiple car accidents or a minor plane accident.
Wow. Minor plane accident?
Yeah.
That's, wow. I didn't know. What's a minor plane accident?
He's like, it's probably from being slammed around so much.
Yeah.
I go, yeah. And then I had to do stretches a couple of days ago, and the woman looked at me and she's like, now, do you do yoga? I was like, do you think I do yoga?
I feel like you can answer this one on your own, but okay. Do you do yoga? She's also stretching you. Like, wouldn't you notice how flexible you were? But yeah.
Right. That's, well, she did it before, but like after, I think if she'd waited 1 minute and watched how flexible I'm not, she would have been like, oh.
I mean, okay. Well, good. Well, we're very happy you're indulging in some self-care. It sounds like that's good.
No, it's probably not bad.
Okay, so we had this beautiful origin story, going to the French restaurant, and by going I mean just showing up and then leaving. Didn't actually do the stand-up, but it seems like that worked out, and it may have really changed the trajectory of things had you actually done that set. So
I met my wife through wrestling, so that is another good thing.
There you go. You just take an 18-year detour, find a wife, and then get back to it. That's what they say about stand-up.
That's true.
Okay, well, you said you had another bad idea. What other bad idea did you have?
Well, yeah, I've had a couple. One I have to throw out is a couple of years ago I tried keto.
Okay.
And I don't eat meat. I haven't eaten meat for like 7 years.
Oh, sweet.
But so I was doing keto without it, and I felt great. Like I've never felt so good in my entire life. The problem is that I'm also on medication because I'm pre-diabetic, like a winner.
Hell yeah.
And
I don't know why I said that. Sorry. Like he seems excited. I want to be supportive. All right.
I appreciate that. Diabetes. I mean, it's only pre-diabetic.
That's true. You're not working hard enough.
I mean, technically, if you think about it, we're all pre-diabetic.
That is true.
So I'm taking pills for that, and then I cut out all sugar. And after 6 weeks, I was sitting here in this seat working, and I went blind because I had a now I can't think of the word of it, where you just hyperglycemic.
Okay.
I had a hyperglycemic episode, and everything just went
So
super.
were you still awake? You didn't like pass out. You just like
Right.
blacked out.
I was just it wasn't even blackout. It was just everything was so blurry I couldn't see hardly anything. It's just funnier to say that I went blind, but I mean basically like I wasn't going to get behind the wheel of a car.
Right.
But I started thinking about it. I was like, if I need sugar, if that's what I need, the only source that I have is the communal bowl of M&Ms outside the office. I was like, this is pre-COVID, by the way. And so I went out and I just grabbed like a handful of M&Ms and started eating it, like
and
just hoping
like,
this would.
Can't see.
Yeah.
And do you feel like you're gonna pass out or anything, or you just started worried because you can't?
Everything was like kind of throbbing and rocking. And
okay. And then did anybody see you? I feel like this would be a terrifying situation where you're just like kind of stumbling and then just shoving M&Ms into your mouth.
I was the only person on the floor. I would have loved, because I wasn't like quiet about being on keto. I became one of those keto, like you really should try keto. You got to do keto. So I would have loved it if someone had seen me come out of the office, like feeling my way.
Right. They're like, I'm not trying keto now. Yeah.
Right.
So what happened? Did that help? Did the M&Ms help?
Yeah, it did. I mean, it took a long time for my vision to come back and everything to be normal, but in the short term, I was able to work it out.
Wow, that's scary, but also interesting story.
Yeah.
Did you stop doing keto after that? Sorry.
Yeah, I did. And the stupid thing, I don't know what this says about my mind or whatever, but I realized, hey, I could still just do the regular keto and then have like a banana every day, and I would be fine.
Yeah, and then the lack of sugar too.
Yeah, but then for some reason in my head, I'm just like, well, that's not keto, so why even try it? So then instead, I just have carrot cake for lunch and call it a day. But
like, I don't want that to happen again. I need my sweets. That's. Well, you let us know when you get to full diabetic, and we'll
do a follow-up episode.
We'll do a follow-up episode to check in on your diabetes. Well, that's a scary one. We've never really had any scary. I don't know. No one's. That's. I don't know. That seems really. I have bad anxiety, so even thinking about it is making me be like, oh, what would I do if I just kind of went blind, alone in a workspace? Like, I don't know if I would have thought to just chug M&Ms, but now we know.
To be fair, that's usually my answer for most things.
You're like, if this is it, I'm going out with some M&Ms in my mouth at least.
Like, Grandma died. Let me get some M&Ms with peanuts.
I need those communal M&Ms. Well, I guess the bad idea is the mixture of the keto and the no sugar.
Yeah.
Just not giving your body enough.
Yeah.
Enough stuff.
I always had weird ideas when it came to like food. Like when we moved to Anacortes, you know Anacortes, right?
I do.
You've heard of Anacortes?
I've heard of Anacortes. It's near Oak Harbor.
That's true. Yeah, we didn't move far. But where we moved to this place that was like 3 blocks away from a 24-hour donut shop. And
that's LA. There's donut shops everywhere in LA. So
really,
it doesn't make any sense to me, but whatever.
So I was like, I'm just gonna get donuts. Like why wouldn't you? And then
if you want to keep your vision. Yeah.
What was that?
If you want to keep your vision, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But I thought I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna earn this donut. So I decided every day that I would jog to the donut shop, get my donut, and then jog home and eat it. Like I was earning. But then I realized, like, first off, you're not gonna burn enough calories in that short little jog to get it.
Right.
And second off, to everybody else, I just look like a fat guy running to a
to the donut shop. You're like so excited to get to the donut shop.
They better not be out of Eclairs.
Did they remember you? Did this happen often?
Yeah. Every time I showed up panting, sweat pouring.
Here you go.
Oh, here you go.
That's hilarious. That's so funny because we do have ideas with weight loss stuff, because eventually you're like, look, keto, whatever I tried before didn't really work for me. Let me just find something that's going to work for me to get me to stop eating so much or to get me to exercise. And my dad worked with this guy who once he decided that he was only allowed to buy 6 beers at a time, and if he wanted them, he had to walk to the store. And it actually worked. Like, he lost like a considerable amount of weight. Then this other guy who didn't smoke before just started smoking cigarettes when he was hungry. Like, instead of eating, he would smoke cigarettes. And he lost like 100 pounds and then was like, yep, now I have to quit smoking cigarettes. And that's the harder part. I was like, great. But it's like, it is a hard, sometimes when I'm really stressed or like going through something really traumatic, I tend to not eat. Like, I just kind of forget that I'm hungry, and so I'll lose a lot of weight. And there was a period of time right before I moved back from Los Angeles when all of my friends were like, oh my God, you lost so much weight. What have you been doing? And I'm like, stress. I don't know. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Just don't eat. I was honest, though. I wasn't like, oh yeah,
Right.
I've been changing these things. No, I'm like, oh yeah, I just haven't been eating because I've been so stressed. Which is effective, unfortunately.
I wish that I had that type of trigger where it was like something that would make me stop eating, because I really am. It's stress, I'll eat. If I'm excited about something, I'm eating. If I'm celebrating something, I'm eating. If I get sad, eating. It's like that's the full comfort spectrum for me.
That's the thing. Yeah, I think, and not to put any concern on anybody's hearts, but I do the same thing with drinking. Like, if I'm stressed, I'll drink. If I am excited, I'll drink. You know, like if the people are around and I want to, you know, I'm happy that I'm with people, I'll drink. If people leave me, then I'll drink. You know, like it's
Yeah.
yeah, which is whatever, moderation. Don't worry.
I realized what a mental thing food was for me a few months ago, because I got COVID, like full on COVID, and I was sick. I wasn't in the hospital or anything like that, but I got full on COVID, and
full blown COVID, not pre-COVID. It's full
right.
COVID.
That's it, not pre-COVID. But so I lost all taste for like 3 or 4 weeks, and you'd think this is the perfect time to just eat nothing but steamed broccoli.
Yeah.
But like mentally, I'm like, no, I'm gonna get donuts and Pop-Tart because I'm sick, so I'm just gonna eat.
Right, you want to feel better.
And it was just all off of memory because I couldn't taste anything.
That's interesting. Like, well, and also when you're sick, you want to comfort yourself. I think that's fine.
Yeah.
And you made it through, so it's all good.
Right. Maybe that's the answer. Just eat donuts and Pop-Tarts.
Yeah, just endorphins of some sort. Just get them going, you know?
Yeah.
Positive stuff. Well, this is great. It's really a wide spectrum of ideas here. This is great. Okay, so your way to sneak into doing stand-up, basically, which you didn't actually go through with, and I like that. However, has brought you to your stand-up career now, as well as your sweet wife. So it worked out okay on that one. What was the second one? I can't remember now.
the keto.
The keto, yes, that's why we started talking about food. The keto, then addition of the no sugar, and I mean the visual of the M&M bowl situation is
right.
Just really locked in for me, and I thank you for sharing that with us, because it's just you like not, because I've had that experience where I feel like I'm gonna pass out. Probably not as crazy, but yeah, my vision that kind of went blurry. But it's like I can't really respond to people, so just somebody seeing you there it's just such a funny
And now that you're talking
image
about
to
it,
me, I'm sorry.
I love the idea that there were like maybe 2 people walking. They were talking about the quarterlies or whatever.
Yeah.
And they stop as I'm like trying to make my way out and then scooping a big handful.
Well, and it just looks like you're like so in need of M&Ms that you're like, I can barely walk. Beautiful stories. And then attempted weight loss from everybody. Never quite as good of an idea as you think. But
right.
Who are we? Superheroes? Obviously not.
Come on.
Man. Okay, so if people want to find you, follow you, come see you on this tour / us on October 3rd, where should they find you?
I am at Todd Royce XXL on everything. Twitter. I don't know why I said Twitter first. I never post there. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and of course TikTok.
Yes.
And then we're doing. I mean, we're scheduled in. I'm trying to remember. Huntsville, Alabama, on October 20th. I'm in Washington D.C. on October 23rd. And then we're in Nashville, Tennessee on October 24th. We got Dallas coming up, Phoenix coming up, Boise, Spokane.
All the stuff. Yeah. You guys, no matter where you are, you'll be able to see Todd and Josh sometimes. And me if you're in Seattle on October 3rd. There you go. And yes, give Todd a follow. Definitely worth it. Very funny. If you're watching us on YouTube, you subscribe here, but then go check out his YouTube page. And then wherever you're listening, do the thing. Subscribe, rate, review, follow, whatever it is. We appreciate you. Tell your friends. It's a great idea to listen to the show or watch the show. We also have YouTube memberships. So if you sign up for that, then you get behind-the-scenes episodes of this show, full stand-up sets from me, and other videos that only members get to see. Oh, and you also get custom emojis, which is very fun. Yeah, but right now you can just keep watching Dumb Pitches.
You're weird.
Yes.